Hello. Happy
Hello.
Happy Mother's Day,
Thank
Mother.
you.
Okay, that's
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, that's it. Bye.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Um. So, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm watching my cat look at me.
So you're watching each other.
It yeah, it looks like that is the way it is.
Is that what happens when you get old? You sit and stare at your cat all day long.
Only if she stares at me first.
Grammy, you're old.
Yeah.
I'm.
So I my where did I see that about yeah, in the local neighborhood thing was talking about the teachers. I thought I forgot to tell you about that. Um the teachers don't the teachers what did they say? The teachers they get off all the holidays and all summer and something else I can't remember. I'd have to look it up again. It's on the neighborhood thing.
Well, I mean, we do get holidays in summer, but we don't get paid for them. Like we don't get paid holidays. We just get the day off.
Well, you have a contract with a salary.
Right, but our contract is for an X number of school days. That's all we get paid for. We don't get I know a lot of people think that, well, you get paid all summer. No, we don't. I mean, we do. We get money all summer, but it's money that we've already earned. They just spread it out over the
Yeah.
whole calendar year instead of just the 100 and whatever school days.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you
Yeah,
get
I mean
paid all
you're
summer."
contracted for a certain amount of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Unlike, well, police officers are also contracted for a certain amount of money, but they get overtime, which I don't know how you can be salaried and get overtime.
Well, I don't know what their contracts look like.
But we definitely do not get overtime. I mean, obviously, I've been doing this long enough that I don't have to spend as much time, doing stuff as I used to. But I mean, I used to stay at work sometimes till 7, 8 o'clock at night, trying to do stuff, getting stuff done. And
Well, look at all the money you've spent
well, yeah. I mean,
out
I
of your
figure over
out of
my
your pocket, and you don't have any big donors to help you like they do with the
no,
ballroom.
no, we don't get sponsored like sports teams. That would actually be really funny.
Yeah, it would.
I start selling patches on my shirts and stuff where for school supplies. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a dystopian nightmare.
Sponsor sponsor me for my school supplies like they do sponsorship for running events
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, they kind of sort of do that. There's a thing called Donors Choose where teachers can post like wish lists basically of stuff that they want, and people can buy either like an individual thing for a teacher or they can donate a certain amount of money to a teacher. But some schools, if you take stuff, they say
Minerva,
it
get
belongs to
off
them.
of there. She's messing with my thing. Stop. If you're gonna sit there, sit still.
Minerva, I told you you cannot be don't get to be the director. Um, I know, but I know that some of the like, or you can put stuff on an Amazon wish list and like share the wish list with people and ask them to buy stuff. But a lot of schools do not want you to do that. I don't know if there's some legal
Hey, you're gonna
ramification.
have to get down now. You're just keeping your she just put trying to butt her head against the
Because you're
thing.
not paying attention to her.
I know, but
So, I have never done. And then my coworker and I were talking about,
so is
um,
that like a GoFundMe for teachers?
basically, but my coworker and I were talking about, we get a, like a, like a newsletter from the school district, um, once a week or whatever. And I don't know, I guess May is like giving month or something. Because that's a thing that they're, but anyway, they in it, there's ways for teachers to donate to the scholarship programs and stuff, and I'm like, you're asking the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like, ask their parents, ask the community, ask businesses. Don't ask the teachers who already are strapped for cash because we have to provide our own. I don't know how many pencils I've gone through. Well, kids only need two.
Not 37.
No, not that they ever
No,
actually.
wait, that's dolls.
Yeah. And I know a lot of schools are going. We went, like, I remember when we started to get like real technology, like smart boards,
Why
and
is my screen blinking on the frame?
because it's who's talking.
No, you're talking.
It changes depending on who's talking, and so if we're both talking, then we're both flashing.
Now it's not doing anything.
That's because nobody's talking.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It lit up when you started talking.
Anyway, I was saying, when we first started getting like smart boards and stuff, of course, the special ed department, we never got them before they were already on to the next thing. And those were thousands of dollars. They were called Promethean boards or
I,
smart
I,
boards.
I kind of,
And
I don't
now
know
they,
where I think I saw one on the television somewhere.
yeah, probably. And now they sit in storage, I guess, somewhere. Maybe, I don't know what they do with them. They're not used anymore. Now we have big, like 80-inch TVs, that we can connect our computers to. So yeah, thousands and thousands of dollars, millions of dollars spent on technology that is already obsolete and was obsolete before even everybody got to use it.
Yeah.
And now they've spent all of these millions of dollars on, laptops and Chromebooks and iPads for kids. And now schools are realizing that that was a mistake.
Why?
And because they've been doing studies that kids that use, I just saw it yesterday. What was it? Kids that use screens in school, like, I can't remember. Like, reading rates were way down. I don't remember, but we're realizing, as I could have, I mean, lots of people could have told them, that putting a screen in front of kids 24/7 with no boundaries, like they can just look at YouTube all day long. Like, there's nothing stopping them from doing it other than the teacher taking away the iPad. And a
So
lot of,
it's not about whether they're reading on paper from paper or from the screen.
it's that they're not reading at all.
Oh,
They're just watching, they're constantly watching videos. It's not like when the internet started and everything was, you had to read the text on websites, and
right.
that's, everything is a video. TikTok, YouTube, there's no actual reading involved there. It's all passive. And even the educational YouTube stuff, which there is a lot of it out there and a lot of it is really good,
Yeah, it
uh,
is.
but even that, because it's not in 30-second clips, they don't pay attention after that 30 seconds. Like, they're so used to Instagram and TikTok, where it's 30 seconds or a minute, and then it's something new and something new and something new, and they cannot. And it's not really their fault. We've set them up for this, like, that they have no attention span because they're being constantly bombarded with novel information, but it's not the kind of information that is useful. Like, it's like, and I'm not saying that it's all of it's bad, but it's like they don't, it's almost like they don't even pay attention to what they're watching. It's they're just waiting for the next thing. And that's on top of kids that
I
already have
can I can
ADD.
understand how that might,
Well, and I was talking to Michelle yesterday about, because my brain doesn't work that way, I struggle sometimes with figuring out how best to help my students, because my brain doesn't work the way that theirs does. And so talking to people who have the experience, is helpful. And she was telling me, because I was talking about one kid that I can't get him to even begin anything. He won't even write his name on the paper. He always says, I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. But of course he never does. And I was talking to her and I was like, I don't know how, like, I've tried starting it for him. That doesn't work. I've tried sitting next to him. That doesn't work because he can't sit still. I've tried, taking him, separating him or a small group of kids. He can't do that. And I don't, and she was saying that part of the problem that she has with getting started with, like, for example, cleaning up the upstairs, she was like, I look at it and I think this is going to take me 12 days and I can't do that. And she's like, if so, what she wants me to do is, like, basically, like, grid off the stuff and tell her how long each thing will take, or how long I think it'll take. Because she said, if I'm just looking at the whole thing, I know I feel like I'll never finish it, so why bother to start? And I'm like, okay, so do I start trying to tell him, this should take you about 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes, do this one thing, and then you can, just giving him a time frame of how long the task will take be helpful. Looking at the whole paper overwhelming so he just doesn't do any of it? I don't know. And they don't even really know why. They can't really
yeah. Well,
articulate.
yeah, they don't know why, because they don't have the experience to know.
Well, and just like I don't understand how they think, they don't understand how I think.
No.
And part of the problem, I think, in education is we don't talk about that. I don't necessarily think calling ADD a dysfunction or a disability is correct. I think it's more of just a difference in how our brains process information, whether it's information that's given to us by, like, a teacher, or information about, whatever. I think my brain it's one of the things Michelle and I were talking about, like, because it's not just about cleaning, it's also about keeping things organized and knowing where stuff is. And I said, I don't understand. I've cleaned out the fridge a few times and organized it, and it just ends up a big mess again. And she said, to me, it just looks like a big box. And so if it fits in the box, it goes in the box wherever it fits. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not how it works, because then you can't find anything, it's that seeing the big picture instead of the details thing.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the way that the things that we as a society, praise, orderliness and, all that stuff, that's what gets seen as normal. But I'm not sure that that really is necessarily the norm.
Well, I mean, organization for me is not part of my ADHD problem.
Right.
I'm organized, and if I don't have things organized, that is a problem for me with, you know, with
Yeah, it makes me crazy. If and it doesn't have to be perfectly tidy, but I have to know where where stuff is. Like, it's in this
well,
drawer.
yeah, because like if I move something, and I've done this, I move it someplace else that I think it might fit better or be better for whatever reason, and after I do that, the next time I want to use it, I can't remember where I put it.
Yeah.
But that's not age, that's ADD, because it's always been like that for me.
Yeah. Well, and I was also thinking about, you had asked me the other day if I felt like I was depressed. I don't think I'm depressed, um, because partly because I know what the external parts of me being depressed look like, as far as like what I'm doing. Like I just don't, I just leave my clothes on the floor. I don't care. You
Oh,
know, like I'm hanging up my stuff and, so I don't think I'm depressed. But when I was thinking about when I was a kid and how I used to get in trouble for not cleaning my room and my room being a mess, I think that when it was like that, I think I was depressed and I didn't understand that. When I got older, not maybe not when I was a kid, but like when I was a teenager,
yeah,
uh,
I know.
you know, I mean, I didn't understand that as a kid, but I think that that was because I would all of a sudden one day I'd be like, okay, time to clean up. And I'd clean up everything and organize it and rearrange my room and I'd be fine for a while.
Well, I think part of that is just being a teenager too.
Lenny pretty much kept his room clean as a teenager. He didn't so
Yeah,
much
I
when he
know.
was
Well,
little,
yeah, he always kind of did, but
but
it
then he couldn't
depended,
find
I
it.
think, on what he was doing.
But then he could never find anything in his backpack.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I have a couple of students like that. It's the black hole. It's like it goes in and you never see it again, and I don't know where
yeah.
it goes. And I've tried, I give kids folders and binders and, but if you don't use the tools, it doesn't help.
Well, you can always yell at him like Lenny's teacher did.
Yeah, that really helped a lot. And I try really hard not to remember it's not, it's not a personal moral failure. It's just
No.
it's an executive functioning problem.
Yeah.
And but that doesn't mean that sometimes it's not
But
really.
no, it is frustrating because as much as I understood it with Lenny, it was still frustrating sometimes. But what I had to remember was he couldn't take multiple directions in one in one swell
Yeah,
swoop.
which is interesting because now that's all he does, kind
Yeah,
of.
but it a lot of it has to do with maturing too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is a big part of it, and we talk about too the especially the boys, it seems, between freshman and sophomore year, that summer between now and next school year, a lot of the boys really do mature quite a bit, in but then the kids that are like more um have more autistic traits, um have a tendency to that's delayed a little bit and it really doesn't happen until like between junior and senior year for them. I was talking to somebody about that and I said I noticed that that seems to be kind of the case, and we were talking about it and like, yeah, that does seem about right, that it takes them about 2 years longer to get to
Yeah.
this point. um but unfortunately for being in high school, by the time you get to your end of your junior year, if you haven't kind of figured it out, you're kind of out of luck because you're running out of time to, I've had a lot of kids that are like seniors and then they're like, oh man, I wish I would have done this or that or whatever when I was a freshman. And, and it's like, yeah, but that is part of the learning process of being
It's
a
a
teenager.
learning curve.
Yeah. And some kids get there faster than others.
Yeah.
Academically, I was pretty much always ahead of schedule, but in some ways socially I was not. And Lenny, I don't know, I wouldn't say
I
he was.
think that was only true at school where you were dealing with the bullying.
Yeah.
I don't think you had socialization problems
No, I
when you were doing sports and things like that.
No, but I also was the never at that age. I was very high strung as a teenager. Like I couldn't. I I liked like I loved playing sports, but it wasn't just that it was fun. A lot of kids did it because it was fun. For me, it wasn't.
No, you took it serious.
I don't mean it wasn't fun, but I mean it was also very serious for me.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Well, so was karate.
Yeah. Well, I mean any sport that I played, I was like that.
Right. And Lenny was like okay with everything.
Which is probably why he liked skateboarding. There was no real structure to it. He didn't have to follow any rules or, he could just do whatever he
Well,
wanted.
I don't think he minded karate though.
No, but he didn't like it the same
It
way that I
wasn't the same. I know he wasn't the same about it as you were,
he
but
wasn't that competitive.
I think as an adult, I think he's probably not sorry he did it though.
No. Well, who would have ever thought we did taekwondo for however many years and then I end up in Korea and
Yeah.
you know, I've watched a few people on
Well, Mr. Smothers had that Korean flag up all the time.
yeah, and I never, you know, thought much about it at the time. Um I've watched a number of people on YouTube that are living in like most of them are in and China and Japan and like seeing the people that live there and talking about their everyday lives, like we have a very skewed idea of what China is like, I think.
Well, I was just watching some YouTube stuff about I don't know what channel it was, a young person, um traveling in China. I think it was a Chinese person though. Maybe it was the South Korean person. I can't remember now. But it's really nice there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's clean. It's,
Yeah. Oh,
there's
I
no
know. It was some guy, a young man, was showing the difference between a 300, 600, and $900 apartment.
oh, I think that showed up on my YouTube. I didn't watch it, but
Yeah, and I mean, it was actually the $300 apartment didn't look all that bad, quite
well,
frankly.
my apartment, the first apartment I had in Korea, it was like 350 a month. I didn't have to pay it, but I'm pretty sure that's about what the rent was. And it was, I mean, it was not for a
Was
family or
that
anything,
when you
but
were in the
at the
school?
kindergarten, yeah.
Oh, when you were doing the little
When I,
kids.
yeah, when I very first got there.
Where did
Uh,
you stay?
I had a little apartment, like a couple blocks from the school.
All I remember is when you were living in they had some of the teachers in the dorm.
Yeah, that was when I moved. I was at the kindergarten for 2 years that I lived in that apartment.
Okay. I
And then,
Is that
and
the
then I
little
moved.
bitty apartment?
It was small. I mean, they were both the first two apartments I had. Well, really, the first three apartments I had were small. It wasn't until I moved into off like campus to that other apartment where I got Elfie and Hermie that was kind of bigger, like more
At
of
the
like a 1 bedroom apartment size.
when when you were at the university?
Yeah, though that was the last. I lived there the last 4 or 5 years I was there.
When How long were you there?
10 years.
And so the last apartment that you lived in, that's for some reason I remember you being in a little tiny apartment, but was that when you were teaching at the university or at the little kids?
Yeah, the really really tiny apartment was the dorm room that
Oh,
that I lived in. That
when you
was
first went to the university?
Yes, but the apartment I had when I first got there at was, I mean, honestly, it wasn't that much bigger than the one I had at the university. It was just um, in a better kind of a better location. It really wasn't that much bigger, but it was set up a little bit better because it was set up as an apartment, not as a dorm room. Because the dorm room was, set up for two people, and it was about the size of the dorm room I had in college, except it had a
Oh,
little. They put
yeah.
in a
But
little
you,
kitchen.
it was just you. You,
Yeah, it was just me, and they put in a little kitchen thing. Which maybe that was in there already. I don't know. It could have been in there already.
how many, but there were other teachers that stayed
Yeah,
in there, right?
yeah. Until they eventually kicked us all out so they could use it for international students.
Because they would.
They wanted it for international students
Oh,
because the
okay.
university was getting a lot
But
more
they still
international
gave you
students.
money toward your rent, right?
Yes. And then the big difference there is that you pay your full year's rent up front.
Right, I remember that.
But still, the full year's rent was like, it was like five, no,
I thought it was like 2,400 or
something
2,500.
like that. It wasn't, I mean, it was pretty small amount of money.
Yeah,
Comparatively. Like I spent more than that just on the dep deposit for this apartment.
right.
And it was not a, bad apartment. The utilities weren't bad. It was I had a nice balcony and, um, I liked it there. But if I hadn't come home, I wouldn't have gotten Miss Violet.
No, I know.
No, no, we wouldn't have gotten Miss Violet. Or Mr. Albie, because he just said, okay, I live here now. The cat distribution system. So, well, I'm sorry I'm not able to come and actually see you in person, but look, I see you.
Well,
But
it's,
I'm pretty sure I don't have the hantavirus, so
well, not only that, I don't know if you can afford the gas.
yeah, really. Well, like I said, some of the people I work with, one girl lives down in like Hillsboro or something, DeSoto,
That,
Hillsboro, somewhere down there.
yeah, that's pretty far.
Yeah, and a couple
I
of my
used,
coworkers
when
live
I
in.
lived down, when we lived down there and I had to go work down by, which is right by the science center now, but
Oh,
that was all different then. That was a long drive.
yeah, and some of them live in Illinois. And I was
Yeah.
talking to one, and I asked her how much gas was over by her. I forget where she said in Illinois she lives, but she said it was the cheapest that she'd seen on the Illinois side was 5.25.
Well, when I went to the doctor the other day, I think it was well, the diesel was over $5. I
Yeah,
think the unleaded was like 4.19 or something like
I've
that.
seen it as high as 4.39. Um, and just 3 months ago, it was less than $2.
Right.
That was the one thing that hadn't gone up, but it's the one thing that will make everything else go up.
Yeah. Yes, because the truckers can't afford the gas. The airlines can't afford the gas.
The shipping companies can't even get the gas.
Mhm.
Well, they can't get the oil to make the gas.
Yep. So we will either not have the food or it'll be too expensive to buy.
Well, I told you Michelle hasn't been able to find strawberries at Sam's or Costco, and the ones that she got at Schnucks or wherever were molded in like 2 days.
Well,
because
they don't, strawberries don't really last very long anyway, but
no, I
uh,
know, but usually she can get them at Sam's or Costco, and they last a couple of days in the fridge at least.
well, it might. Do you think it's because of Mother's Day though?
No, she hasn't been able to find them there for like 2 weeks.
Well, I know, but I mean
No,
they make.
I don't think it's that, because it's not just the strawberries. She said they didn't have any other berries really.
Oh,
Blueberries, raspberries. I mean, I know that they're not early summer fruit, but you can, but if the ships can't afford to get them from where they grow to here,
yeah.
or if they have to sit an extra day or two because, you got to make sure you have a maximum capacity on a ship because it costs so much to, you know,
Well,
m-
everything is interconnected, and one thing goes bad, everything goes bad
well,
eventually.
people have been talking about next school year. Will schools be able to afford gas for school buses?
Right.
Because they only budget so much for that every year and hope that and I saw that Missouri has a $300 million shortfall for education in districts that are already, you know, not only it's a weird thing of like they don't really have enough money to hire enough people, but there's also not enough people that want the job.
Well, if you teachers would stop, or what do they call it? Uh,
Indoctrinating.
yeah, indoctrinating the children.
Yeah, if I could indoctrinate my teenage students, they would wear deodorant and turn in their homework.
Exactly. It just depends on what kind of indoctrination they're talking about. I think that technically teachers have always indoctrinated. I think that's just another word for teaching.
Yeah, I indoctrinated them with the alphabet.
Right.
But I don't even know that they really want us to do that anymore.
Well, you don't, I don't see them having the alphabet up on around the classrooms like you
Well,
know what,
certainly not in cursive.
not in cursive. Mm-mm,
I was
no.
actually talking to one of my kids the other day. There, he teaches, not one of my kids, one of my coworkers. He teaches the personal finance class. It's one of the classes that's required to graduate. And he was saying about the kids don't know how to sign a check, and I was like, they still teach them how to use checks.
But
And
do
he said,
they, I was going to ask you this and I kept forgetting. Do you know if kids know, can they sign their name in
well,
cursive?
that's I'm getting there. And so they were talking about writing checks and like having to sign documents and stuff. No, they can't.
What are they doing? Making an X like years back?
Oh, they just print their name. It's not really a signature. They don't know how to do that.
That's a problem
Yeah,
because
no.
that's how they, handwriting is.
Well, I mean, printing is also unique to each person.
It, yes, but printing takes so much more time and
Yeah,
energy
I know.
than cursive. There's no flow to it.
I mean,
It's start and stop, start and stop.
I remember being in school and like practicing signing my name, and all the different ways I could make the letters and you
Yeah.
know, and they can't they no, they don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I think that I think the education system has failed.
Yeah.
But it's not because of the teachers, it's because of the curriculum. And teachers don't, decide what the curriculum is. It's people that don't know any better. And
Well, it's
why they got rid of phonics and why they got rid of cursive and why they got rid of things that they don't teach anymore. I don't get it. But it's not because of the teachers.
no, I know. I'm not saying, there aren't bad teachers. Of course there's bad teachers, just like there's bad everybody,
There's
whatever profession.
exactly.
And if you're
Oh,
unfortunate enough.
there's bad teachers, yes. I
Oh, yeah.
just watched a thing today about two women, bad teachers, bad
Yeah,
teachers.
I saw a thing yesterday about a teacher. I can't remember what state it was in. Teacher got fired during the school day because they were doing meth. And it's like,
Not math.
no, not math, meth. That's
See,
where they got confused. They
that's
didn't
where
take
they
the
got
spelling test.
confused.
They didn't take the right spelling test.
Yeah.
They said I had to take meth.
Yeah, they don't do spelling anymore either. It's
No,
crazy.
the kids don't even know how to use spell check because they don't know which word to pick if it gives them more than one option. And again, I know that my view is somewhat skewed because of the population of students that I work with. I get that. But I'm not
No,
just saying that. Like
it
there's like
well,
statistics that
I'm not
show that.
even no, I'm looking at it from a bird's eye view, and I can they have no idea what they're doing by not teaching those things. Uh, I just because technology can fail,
Yeah.
and
Well, I've talked
then
to my students about that before. I said, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow and there was no electricity, no internet, no like they can't even conceptualize it.
I know, but I mean, we have proof. When I tried to get through when the car broke down and I tried to get through on the payphone, Lenny was on the computer, and because it was on through the phone, I couldn't get through to get anybody to help me with the car.
Yeah, when we had dial up internet.
Yeah, exactly. And so that we know that it's not perfect. Oh my God, that was something else. And I encouraged you kids to with the technology, and
Not
then I
that
couldn't
much.
then I couldn't get help when I needed it because you were doing technology.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about in the classrooms, some of the classrooms still have the like thing from the ceiling that used to hold the TV or the projector,
Oh,
and the one classroom that I'm in, it's got um like power strips all the way around the room because it used to be the computer lab when that was a thing,
oh, okay, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
when
They don't need a computer lab
no
anymore, I guess.
kids have, and that's what I was saying. A lot of schools now are going the other way and saying no technology at all. The kids are not allowed to have any technology. And I'm like, no,
I know,
it's
I
fine
know.
to have it sometimes.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that the focus has to be on the things that, like cursive but they at least need to know how to do it. It's not that they have to do it every day once they learn, but if they don't learn it at all,
Well, most of my students don't actually know how to type. Even though they've been surrounded by computers and keyboards their whole lives, they don't actually know how to type in a way that is efficient.
exactly. Well, because you have to do it for a while for it to become,
Yeah, it's like learning
the
to play the piano. You have to
the
practice where your
muscle
fingers move.
memory.
Now I can type, I can be doing other things and, but
Right.
um
That's why I don't like using the phone as far as, I don't do the thumb thing because I can type faster
well
than I can do that.
kids can
I know
faster than I
I've
can
seen a lot
type,
of
right?
them do that,
Yeah.
but, you know, and that's how I feel about doing the keyboard, but
Well, one of the things I'm going to try to do over the summer is really decrease the amount of time I'm sitting in front of a screen, whether it's the TV or the computer or my phone. Um, I think I need to give my brain a break from that for a while. Not
what
that
are
I
you going to do instead?
read books. I have so
Oh,
many books that I haven't read, and I want to read them, but me too. My attention span has gotten shorter because of all of this, and I'm aware of that. And I know I understand.
well, I think a lot of that for everybody, and I could be wrong, but this is what I think that with all of the turmoil in our world, and every day we're on the alert for something new.
Yeah.
I do
Well,
think it has a lot to do with that, because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then,
yeah. It's the
it's
day to
just
day something crazy happens, and
right. And you're
well,
expecting it, and you're waiting for it, and
and if you
that
think about it, we've really all been on edge like this since COVID, for one thing or another. It's not been the
it
same
was
thing all
before
the time.
that for me. It
Well,
was it was after he got in office
yeah,
and started undoing everything that it was a constant wondering every day when you wake up, what are you facing today,
yeah.
that isn't according to the law and the Constitution. I'm
And see,
sorry, it's like I
the first
can't.
the first 4 years, I wasn't here, and so I didn't have to face it every day. I wasn't teaching government. I wasn't, having to see it from from the same perspective as living here
No,
again.
I know.
So for me, it was really, I mean, I do, like I said, I do remember being at the university and it being late morning or early afternoon, I think, when they announced that he won the first time. And I remember being stunned and just like staring at the TV in the lounge of the student building, and like I couldn't believe it. But then
Well, I tried to tell myself wait and see, but every day the wait and see kept getting worse and worse. And it was like, it was just a, a downhill. I don't know. It was, I can't even put it into words, quite frankly.
yeah,
I can just remember every day, now what? Now what? Now what?
yeah. Well,
And
I feel
nobody doing anything, nobody saying anything. Uh, And I'm like, is it just me? Am I crazy or what? I saw it long before anybody started talking about it, that's for sure.
well, it's like the big sucking sound coming out of, Mexico with, you know, that, in the 90s with Clinton. I mean,
No,
was it?
that was Ross Perot.
Right, right. But Clinton won, is what I'm saying, and did the thing
Oh,
that Ross
because,
Perot said he
yeah.
shouldn't do.
Well, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I don't know that Ross Perot would have been okay, but he was right. I
Yeah,
knew that he was right about that. I did vote for him that year because I believed what he's, not because he said it, and because I didn't really know him, much
yeah,
about him other than what was presented to us on TV or whatever. But I did know that he was right about that. And it, you know, as soon as that happened, little by little, it all started leaving, all the jobs started going overseas, or into another country, or whatever it was, manufacturing, or, call
yeah.
centers, whatever.
Well, where did I see? Maybe it was on Instagram. I saw somebody talking about the Trump phones and how, because,
Oh,
and the reason I said that is because about them being made in America. That was their thing, is made in America. We don't make any of that stuff here. We don't make any of the components. Maybe the silicone chips, but
it all started back when Perot said it was going to happen.
I know.
And now
Well,
they
that
act
was,
like it's a big deal to be bringing companies back to
yeah,
America. They should have never left in the first
yeah.
place. But the thing is now, okay, this is just my opinion. Now that they want them to come back, then they're going to give incentives
Mm-hmm.
to do that, and they didn't try to stop them when they left.
No,
And
it's not
they
that
and
they try
all
to
of
stop it. They
they
actively
talk
encourage
about the
it.
jobs, they lost our jobs back
Yeah,
then. They lost all of our jobs back then.
yeah,
I
I know.
was lucky that my job didn't, because of there were a lot of people that were laid off around me because of them sending our work overseas.
Well,
A
I
lot of it.
the one that the lawyer that I'm working with is local, literally down the street from where I live, but their phone if you call their phone number, they're clearly in the Philippines.
I know.
And those people are working from home because I could hear a baby and a dog in the background. Which is fine. I don't care if people work from home, but yeah, those jobs. Well, and those jobs now are going to be taken by AI anyway. We're not even going to be talking to real people in the not too distant future.
That's that movie that um outsourced. That movie
Oh yeah, yeah,
outsourced.
yeah, yeah,
That is exactly the way things did
yeah.
happen.
I know. Well, Michelle's home, and I need to
All right.
get them some food before Elfie starts breaking things.
Yeah, don't let him break things.
Yeah, that's what he does when he's. I wish he would just tell me he was hungry instead of trying to knock stuff off the shelves.
Oh, just don't put glass on the
If
shelf.
he just learned to speak English,
Yeah.
come into this country as a foreigner and you don't know how to speak English, which is true. He was a foreigner.
Yes, he was.
So, all right. Well, happy Mother's Day, and
All right. Thank you.
I'll I'll talk to you later.
All right. I love you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.